Hello, everybody. Recording live from somewhere.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the Pursuit Pod. I believe this is episode 19 of this great podcast. We've got, it's been a wild last week of sports. I say this in every episode, but I mean, obviously we've got a lot of stuff to talk about just all across the board. A lot of hockey talk, and we have a special surprise for you later on, but we'll get to that when we get to that. It's playoff time for basically all sports. The NBA is coming into playoffs. Play-in games happened last night. We saw the Blazers win, and we saw the Hornets win at a last-second shot by LaMelo Ball. That was pretty cool. So then Stanley Cup playoffs are about to start going here, I think this weekend or next week. Got some stuff about the Phillies, and then some just run-of-the-mill Clemson stuff we'll talk about later. So really nothing else to do, but let's just roll right into it with Roundball Rock. So for this segment, I just kind of want to talk about my predictions of the first round coming up, and I actually was wrong about my prediction I wrote in my notes. So I said Sixers taking over the Magic, and they'll end up playing the Celtics, and I did predict Hornets taking down the Heat. I think the Hornets will eventually play and win against whoever loses 76ers Magic. I just think they're on fire right now. I did say the Suns would win against the Blazers, so that was wrong, and I honestly didn't realize that game was happening last night. So that's probably a fatal flaw by me. But yeah, the Suns lost to the Blazers. The Blazers they had their way with Phoenix, and it kind of messes up what I was looking at. But now we got Clippers, Warriors. They'll be playing, and then they'll be playing the Suns. And honestly, I said the Clippers were going to beat the Blazers, but I said the Clippers were going to beat the Warriors, beat the Blazers, but now I'm kind of I have no clue. I think the Suns will end up winning that game. So let's just roll out of that awkwardness and let's just go right into the first round prediction. So to start out, of course, we're going to have if they continue going on, Pistons versus Hornets in my prediction. So just the numbers to know. Hornets have been second in the league in net ranking since the turn of the new year, next to the Pistons being third in net ranking. And I mean, this is really just the tale of, it's the best thing in sports. A great offense versus an excellent defense. And there's already a lot of fun, bad blood between these two teams. Just looking back in February when they had a major brawl in their game against each other, and so many players were suspended. I just think overall that the Pistons will just simply outlast the Hornets if that's who they end up playing in the paint, and they've already gone 3-0 against them in the regular season, but I think the Hornets will take a game or two, maybe even a game one. That's just the way I see this series going. I think Pistons in 5 to start out there. For Cavs versus Raptors, the 4 versus 5, these teams haven't faced off recently, so it's kind of hard to scope, how the season series compares there. We haven't seen these teams face off since that insane trade deadline that saw Harden join Cleveland, as well as the Cavs being super injury prone to begin the year. And I mean, the Cavs were also awful against them from 3. So, I just think, overall, I think Cleveland's going to end up taking this series from Toronto. And I don't mind the Raptors. I just don't think that they have the 3-point resume that they can use to their benefit to overtake Cleveland, who are kind of notable for being a weaker perimeter defending team. So I'll take Cavs in 5. Again, I don't know if there's any clean sweeps in the East this year. I think that the Cavs are a very strong team. They're really coming from behind here, especially after that rough beginning of their season. And now they're healthy at a good time, so I'll take Cavs in 5 there. I think the Raptors will take maybe a game 4 to avoid a sweep, something like that. Knicks and Hawks. This is going to be a fun one because the Hawks snuck in this year out of the play-in, which is a very rare spot for them to be in. That they're usually with the Bulls, the play-in Warriors, but we're going to see Knicks versus Hawks, and this is honestly a modern iconic series just because of the whole Trae Young Knicks thing. But now they don't have Trae Young. Hawks have been a wagon this year with Dyson Daniels heating up. Jalen Johnson's been an absolute dog. And I think this is going to be the tightest series of this first round of playoffs. I think you can make a case this will be the tightest. I just think that the Knicks have overall superior depth outright. I do think the Knicks, I don't know if they survive past the first round, though, or survive past the second round, because I do think that they've kind of lost their early season allure of being these surefire contenders. Maybe I'm just a hater. I mean, I'm a Sixers fan, so maybe I'm just trying to go against the Knicks, but at the same time, I'm a Villanova guy. Kind of hope they do good, but I also don't. It's one of those things. But honestly, they lost their allure. I think the Hawks they're fighting. They're a fighting team. I'll take Hawks in 7 there. I'll take Hawks in 7, and if the Knicks advance, I don't see them getting anywhere near to the finals, because they're going to have Cavs in the way. Even if the Raptors get up there in the way, they'll have Celtics eventually, probably. Even Sixers. I mean, to go on from that, like Celtics versus Sixers, the odds are not in Philly's favor. And this is, Boston's like 100th opportunity to destroy a Philly team in the Embiid era. And we're not even going to have Embiid, not for the play-in at least. So, yeah, we'll see what happens there. But you also have Jaylen Brown, who's just been playing at a crazy MVP level, you could argue. And this is a team that you would think before the season that they should go all in on the tank and see what they can get out of this draft. But honestly, like, this roster is just too good. There's a reason they won a championship not so long ago. Jason Tatum coming back in, he's been contributing well. Again, the roster is just too good. I think the Sixers can take a trap game. They always seem to, except for like 2020, I think, when we got swept that one year. But they'll take a trap game, heat up the conversation, maybe a game 2, but I think Celtics will handle us. I got Celtics in 5 there. And now we've got the West, which I just got all wrong. I think it's probably going to be, I guess, it'll probably be Thunder versus Blazers, I guess is what it'll end up being. Just because, I don't know, the Suns are not going to be the 7th seed anymore. The Suns, I think, will take that 8th seed. So, sorry, not Thunder versus Blazers. It'll be Thunder. So, through all of this, it'll be Spurs versus Blazers, and then eventually it'll be Thunder versus Suns or Clippers or Warriors, but I think it'll be the Suns probably. I don't think that they're going to miss the playoffs here. So, I mean, I probably got Thunder in 4 there. Spurs versus Blazers. The Spurs have only fallen to Denver and New York recently. I think that maybe they'll fall into trouble next round if they face the Nuggets eventually. But the Spurs are just different, man. I mean, the Blazers are hot, whatever, but the Spurs, they overcame early bad stretches. Wembanyama looks like he could very well take this MVP trophy home. And they've been the only team in the league that have consistently handled Oklahoma City. I think it's doing a favor to the league if the Spurs can go against them in the playoffs. I think that'll be amazing stuff, but I'll take Spurs in 4 there. Sorry, I'll take Spurs in 4 there. And we got Thunder versus Suns. Again, you don't really have to talk about it here. I think the Thunder that first round they're going to cruise. They've been here before. They've been here plenty of times before. They just won the championship. There's no stopping them. I see Thunder in 4, Thunder in 5 there. I think easily. Then you got Lakers versus Rockets. And this is potentially the coolest narrative of these playoffs, because we're going to see KD and LeBron face off for the first time in a non-final series, which is going to be really cool. The stakes are not as high as it usually is. I mean, it's always high in the playoffs, but it's not as high as you would see in the finals. And the Lakers are much better, honestly, than you may think without Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic. They're a +9 net rating for the Lakers, with it just being James leading the way. And they've had surrounding shooters around LeBron. That always works historically. I can see LA taking an early lead at home, but overall, I think the Rockets will use their depth. We've talked about their interesting rebounding style, and they were really hot from 3 to start the year. I just think that they can outlast an injured LA, and if LA advances, I don't think LA would go any farther. I got Rockets in 7 there, and that's a series that can go either way, honestly. I can see that going either way. Rockets they haven't been the strongest so far, but they'll still, I think they can still get past the first round against an injured LA team. Nuggets versus T-Wolves, and this is, again, kind of like Knicks Hawks, this is one of those ones that have become a modern classic. I still feel like the T-Wolves could be the most sneaky title contender in the mix this year, and this could, again, come in handy with how Minnesota has lasted against Jokic and the Nuggets in the Edwards era. But I mean, Denver this year has just been different. They've outlasted Minnesota with ease, and that's a 3-1 record against them this year, and their only loss was because Aaron Gordon, who's their X factor, was out. Not to mention Denver is one of the hottest teams in basketball with a 12-game winning streak going into the playoffs. I can see the Timberwolves taking a game or two here, but I think the Nuggets finally figured themselves out. I think the T-Wolves can take, again, like I just said, T-Wolves can take a game or two in... The T-Wolves can take a game or two, maybe in like an overtime or by like 5 points, but I think the Nuggets will kill them in the other games. So right there, I'll take Nuggets in 6. Now we can see how badly these predictions will have panned out in about a week when I meet with you all again or see how they're going. But that's my predictions. And NBA playoffs, it's usually the better team wins. It's always better team wins, but it's always the higher seed for the most part. But I like to see upsets. I'm hoping the Hawks can get something done there, and I'm hoping that the Rockets-Lakers series is going to be phenomenal. I'm also hoping that the Timberwolves can actually fight my words and actually take that series to 7, but NBA playoffs is always different, so it's always a different atmosphere there. So excited to see what happens, and it's the chase for the Larry O'Brien. It's always great, and we'll see if the Thunder can run it back as well. Moving on to 4th and 4, we've got a very interesting story here. The DOJ is actually investigating the NFL, and they're seeing if the NFL is harming consumers in its broadcast right battle. And this was an article sent to me by a buddy here, and he said, hey, if you want to have a topic to cover for the pod, take this one. And I was like, oh man, if we're getting federal, intrusion into the NFL, it's something serious. And this is honestly reflecting something that I forget if I've talked about this in the pod, but I know I've talked about it with, the guests I'm going to be bringing in later on, as well as just friends I've had and, those kinds of things. And really the conversation comes with the idea of Stream East and having to legally stream different sports games. And a lot of it comes from this lawsuit, or not lawsuit, but this investigation where the NFL has been putting in more games on streaming services to the chagrin of NFL fans. They have contracts with ESPN, NBC Sports, CBS Sports, Fox Sports, Amazon Prime, as well as Netflix, not to mention the occasional simulcasts on Peacock, YouTube, ESPN+. Really, it's becoming a thing where NFL games are behind a paywall, and that's why you're seeing Stream East be used. They're seeing it shut down all the time. It wouldn't have to even be a website if these NFL teams, or even NBA, especially NBA nowadays, you got to have like 10 different subscriptions just to watch a full week of NBA basketball for your own team, unless they have like NBC Sports Philadelphia, NBC Sports Boston. But the truth is, there are paywalls in sports, especially in TV, and it's the rise of streaming, and it's also killing broadcast TV. It's killing cable. You see people canceling their cable subscriptions recently and getting YouTube TV. You see them getting the Sunday ticket, those kinds of things. Broadcast deals with all those aforementioned companies, ESPN, NBC Sports, those are all running through 2033, with all the main media owned by the Murdoch family. And they stated that the NFL is turning to streaming over networks, which is hurting local networks relying on the NFL for that revenue. And the Fox network, owned by Murdoch, they've spoken already to the FCC about the paywalls in sports that are threatening broadcast television, just in general, because NFL drives up the most ratings. The Super Bowl is the biggest event on TV every single year. And all of this comes just in the wake of an overall sense of anti-streaming efforts across the country. You already have Senator Elizabeth Warren from Massachusetts, who sent an urging to the FCC about the rising cost of streaming. The NFL are already under the loose exemption of the Sports Broadcasting Act of 1961, and that can really be summarized by Democratic Congressman Patrick Ryan stating that the Sports Broadcasting Act may have made sense in the 60s, But what we're essentially seeing play out here is a classic case of monopolized industry using their power and control to take over and take advantage of the American people. And again, it's the Stream East conversation all over again. The fact that that website even exists, the fact that you have to, I mean, I know a buddy who legit always has on his computer a tab up of one of those streaming sites and throws on his monitor next to his TV. For watching something else, he throws on like a random, I don't know, a random Bulls game or something on that streaming site. And it's just insane that you have to go to those measures to do that. And you could own, I mean, I know I own all these streaming services, but still it's a pain to have to, renew subscriptions to Prime, renew subscriptions to the ESPN Plus, those kinds of things. And one day they're going to take away the NBC Sports Philadelphia and those kind of local broadcasts. And already you see more and more national TV broadcasts not on ABC, not on TNT. I mean, not TNT anymore, but just those kind of corporations, those kinds of channels. You're not going to see that often anymore. That's going to die out slowly. And it kind of also connects to Netflix. It connects to those different deals that they've made to kind of just consolidate everything into one streaming service. Eventually, we're going to be paying like $50 a month for these streaming services just to watch a single NBA game, a single NFL game a week, and it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous, and it's infuriating for all sports fans. It's infuriating for everyone that just wants to watch their team. They just want to watch the best game that week. It's just the same cycle over and over again, and unless Elizabeth Warren, Patrick Ryan, and the DOJ can do something about this, it's going to continue to be an issue. But I think that the fact that the DOJ is investigating this and knowing kind of the connection between government, NFL, with more, and especially with the Sports Broadcasting Act of 1961, kind of getting some pushback here with these senators, you're starting to see something great. You're starting to see something great for the people that want to bring back broadcast television. I mean, they just brought back NBC for the main NBC channel for NBA, and that was incredible. It was good all season. It's just those kinds of things. You don't want those to die out. And unless these senators can do something about this, then it's going to die out. It's going to die out over time. So that's just how it's going to go, unfortunately. But there can be something done about this. There can be something done about this. Now I want to do something that we haven't done here at the Pursuit Pod for years, and for weeks and weeks, and even the people that watch it that say, hey, let me get on the pod. Your time will be coming soon, maybe, but I would like to introduce our first guest of the Pursuit Pod. Let me throw on my headphones so we can engage in some Flyers talk here on the Phanatic segment, because we've got a lot to talk about. So without further ado, we have our first guest of the Pursuit Pod, Mr. Jason MELROY. Mr. Jason MELROY, recording live from somewhere. Jason, where are you recording from?
Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and you go to school at St. Joseph's University, correct?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. So the Flyers. I mean, start out this segment. Tell me how hyped you are for the Flyers. Their first playoffs since 2020. A lot of good stuff coming out of that. A lot of good stuff. Let me know your initial thoughts.
Well, there hasn't been a home playoff game since I was 11 years old, now 19. So it's been a minute. So to see the city kind of rejoining the Flyers wagon here, it's a great sign. The city was lit up orange the last 2 nights. I don't think I've ever seen it orange. So just seeing the city back on board with the team is just everything you can ask for as a fan.
Yeah. I mean, I know you posted that one picture on your Snapchat about you was a little kid with the whole the Flyers believe. I mean, even just kind of like the inner kid in you. How would you say that relates to your emotions and relates to your excitement? Because you've always been a Flyers guy before I even got into hockey. Before any of our other buddies, we're trying to get them into hockey. But how does this kind of relate to you? Like just your childhood emotion, I guess.
Well, the sign you're referring to said I wrote "I believe" on it. And that's the sign I wrote whenever I went to the practices or the games and I'd watch the warm-ups. So I think that mantra of still believing they were March. They were 3.8% chance of the playoffs. I'm going to be honest, I started to dwindled down on my belief there for a minute, but he's always got to have a little bit of it belief. And here we are in the playoffs. So I think just the belief in the team's always been there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I even put on your title, Flyers believer since '06. I think that honestly, it really just encapsulate who you are, especially because you've always been a Flyers guy. You've always been like the hockey kid that I've known.
Yeah.
So it's been a great thing, and your family and everything. So just going into this season, this is kind of a miracle that it just ended up working the way it did. What were your thoughts going into this season? Did you have faith in the Flyers making the playoffs? Because now we're on the Flyers train. We know they're going to make the playoffs the next few years. Did you have that idea that this is how the season was going to turn out going into this year?
The beginning of the year, definitely not, especially because last year with the whole problem with the team was the goaltending, and they signed Vidar from Calgary. Is technically they signed him as a backup goalie. Obviously, he was far from that. So for me going into the year, this was going to be an experimental year of like see how the younger guys play. Uh, like you had Barkey called up, you've had Bump, and then throughout the year they keep calling up these guys like now Martone, Bong's got some action, Bump. Like I thought they were going to be far from the playoffs, but not as bad as last year was. To the point where you just wanted to see the youth play and the youth shine and see what the future was going to be like for them. I think we got exactly that and more because obviously they're in the playoffs now. There was a large crowd that wanted them to just tank, especially in January, and even towards like March. Recently, they wanted them to miss the playoffs to get more picks. I don't think they're in a position for that because, I mean, the most valuable experience is the playoffs. So getting these young guys the opportunity very early on is a very good sign.
And you're talking about a lot of youth. I mean, obviously the Flyers are setting themselves up really well, and even if we did tank, it would have just been more assets dropped into the prospect pool and all that. So
Right.
kind of just connecting to that like theme of youth and the fact that again I said like we know we're going to go to the playoffs the next few years at least, hopefully, if things keep
Hopefully, yeah.
working out. Yeah, if things keep working
Yeah.
out. What do you think would be like? Just what's your interpretation of, I guess, the impact that the youth had, especially because I mean we see those veteran leaders that are on this team, even guys that like we just signed, like Ladar, for example. But what do you see in the youth of this team, especially on their impact of this season?
A lot of its immediate impact, definitely this year, like Martone, 10 points in nine
Oh yeah,
games.
yeah,
You have Bonk making his debut last night, instantly getting 2 points already. Both Bonk and Barkey scored goals in their debuts this year. So the immediate impact of these guys has been great. Martone's already talking like a leader. So if you keep him, obviously he's going to still be on the roster next year, and for hopefully at least a decade now. Um, but yeah, if you keep these guys and they're establishing themselves as leaders already, that and then you keep replenishing the youth on the roster, I think it's only going to be an asset going forward. I definitely think Martone is going to be a future captain of this team, especially with Couturier aging here. So I'm not sure how many years he has left. Probably a couple, but by that point, Martone's going to hopefully be you know, I think he'd be a 50 goal scorer, especially him and Tippett,
oh yeah,
Forster
yeah.
too.
And I mean Martone is like he's like you could argue that he's a godsend here in Philadelphia. Just the fact that
Yeah,
I mean it again. I've always said this. I mean I said now, but like this season was really just all the right pieces kind of falling into place at the right exact time because we had that terrible stretch in the middle of the year leading up to the Olympic break, or it was right after, around that time. We had that just terrible stretch and things were looking down. But then, we always have the idea of, I kept texting you, we kept texting each other like, oh, we have Martone coming up. And all of a
hmm
sudden he's here. How lucky are we to just, he comes in at this time and all of a sudden he's scored, how many goals has he scored so far in his like 5 games he's played?
I think four.
Like, that's like,
Yeah,
he's scored at least once per game. At
yeah.
least. Like, it's just, again, this Flyers
He's
team is
averaging over a
really
point per
just,
game. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. It's insane. And the fact that this is a kid that was playing in the Frozen Four tournament not too long
yeah,
ago. Is there anything you want to add about that? Just the fact that how it all worked out.
You mentioned right things at the right time. It's like perfectly encapsulate this season essentially. Um, like the MVP of this team is obviously Vidar, but the MVP of the season it was Wisconsin beating Michigan State. Because Michigan State was I believe the one seed in their tournament or their side of the tournament. Um, and if they were on the run there, Martone doesn't join the game and just join the season until a few games later. And really, he gave the momentum boost the team needed. And then after that, Forster, who was projected to be out for the full season plus
Yeah,
more,
yeah,
came back, added the extra jolt. Um, I mean, Martone, overtime winner against the Bruins, that kind of changed the trajectory of everything, especially with the needed points. And then Forster, the winning goal in the shootout. So both the players that were the late additions really did the seal the deal to push us into the last spot there.
yeah. I mean, again, just the same thing. Just the pieces falling into place at the same right time, and even like the guys that were struggling earlier in the year, Ursan comes out of nowhere
Oh
in
yeah,
that 5 game stretch, becomes the best goalie in the league for that like week. Like
yeah.
you
I
can't
think he
write that
lost
stuff.
maybe a game since the Olympic break. He
Yeah,
was, I think he started 6-0, and I think he lost one in there, but it was in relief, I want to say. But yeah, point is he's been remarkable for a backup.
yeah. And I know I texted you. I was like, "Yo, we should just keep Ursan in the rest of the season." You said no, but I was like,
Yeah.
just the way he's been playing. Like, God forbid, like something happens playoffs. We need to like look to him. I'm not worried anymore, honestly. I think
No.
that the energy's changed. I think that we've established a new team here of just I don't know, people are just clicking. It's just all clicking. And I guess this was a controversial topic in just the discourse about the Flyers, especially in the beginning of the year with the Michkov controversy and everything. But what do you think about, Tocchet just through this season? Do you think he's improved at all? And do you
Can you repeat that question? You like kind of froze like
I got you.
halfway
Yeah,
through it
yeah,
and then
yeah.
just got, yeah, sorry.
Just with the discourse of Michkov and everything about that and how his off season training was and how maybe it wasn't the best and people didn't like Tocchet to begin the year. What do you think about this coaching staff now? I mean, obviously there's gonna be some bias because we just picked our heads up and got the hell out of there and made it to the playoffs, but do you think this changes your opinion of him? And what were your opinions before of him?
100% changed my opinion on him because he led us to the playoffs. So I mean, it's not always just the players that um, make that leap to the playoffs. I'll be honest, I wasn't a fan, obviously, um, around the January mark when things started collapsing. Um, but I mean, for both me and the fans, like you can't really blame us for starting to like turn on him that fast because it's been what 6 years since we were
It's
in the
been rough.
playoffs. Like
It's been
things
rough,
things have been
yeah.
going so wrong so fast,
Yeah.
and it's just like we're tired of it. So I think it was easy to blame the when the team's not performing, but then after the Olympic break, him making the switch for Zegers at center and then putting Michkov in his natural wing, those are the coaching changes that needed to happen. And
Yeah.
once they happened, I mean, Miskov, well, I think he had 8 shots last night. Like that's what happens when you let him shine.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't know. I think those changes really were beneficial to the team.
And
And
even
same thing with Mishkov. Like people were calling him, people were quick to call him out, especially in the beginning of the year when he started off slow. They were calling him a down year, which I mean, I guess it was. But he had 20 goals, 50 points. Like that's a down year. I'll take that. Like
yeah. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
like I was about to say, like Michkov, like he almost seemed not like a non-factor. That's not fair to him, but like there was a point where you could argue, like, yeah, Michkov, like he's not the leading guy on this team right now. We were always saying,
Oh no,
like,
he's a role player. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, he took that step back even when he was struggling earlier in the season, and he still picked it up. He was a reason that we won that game to go into the playoffs. Like
Yep.
he's been incredible. It's just one of those things that from the first line, fourth line, both defensive pairings, or all defensive pairings, it's just it all works out in the end. Again, everything's just clicking, and it's inspirational. I mean, I was telling this
It's the same thing with
analogy.
Couturier, with your point about the role player and like finding their groove within that spot. I mean, he was god awful the first
Oh
half of the
yeah,
year. and then
Yeah.
demoted to fourth line. I mean, he's been on a tear recently. Embraced his line. I mean, he could have just sulked about it and been like, fourth line as a captain. Like, what's happening here? But he embraced it. He's been fitting in well. He's been playing his best hockey of the year.
Yeah. I know he's just like, again, kind of underrated the fact that he kind of picked himself up there too. Just it's just incredible. It's just incredible. And now, if you had to make a list of, I know we've been talking about impact this entire conversation, but if you had to make a list of maybe like 5 players or even just like 5 moments, 5 players, whatever, that were just so impactful to the season, like the key moments, key players of this season, what would it be?
Well, the top two moments were the ones I talked about earlier with the shootout win for Martone,
Oh, yeah.
and then the Forrester goal against Carolina, or shootout goal against Carolina.
Yeah.
So for top five impactful players, obviously, Martone, even though he has only played 9 games, I'm going to count him.
Yeah,
Martone
me
and
too.
Forrester up there. I'll go Zegras, obviously. Um, Vladar has to be on there. I mean, the team was good last year, roster wise, I guess, but the downfall is really goaltending.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
obviously without the goaltending, uh, I mean that's four. Um, Honestly, I don't know about most impactful here, but most improved definitely Drysdale. Like something about his games just started to click. Um, just a excellent playmaker that the team needed. Unfortunately, not yet on the power play, but that'll come soon. Hopefully,
Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
I know. I've always been a fan of Drysdale since he came in. I got you that shirt of him,
yeah,
so
yeah,
it's good to see him. Again, just continue with this clicking thing. Just keeping on with the team, finding his improvements. It's incredible. It's just been an incredible story, and I know
oh yeah,
we were crapping bricks every single game in our texts
yeah.
back and forth to each other, and just again, even on this pod, it's just been a lot of we're back, and then it's over, and then it's just
We're
we're
back.
back.
It's over. We're back. It's over. Yeah,
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 yeah. I know we were both just like, all right, there's next year. And like the thing about this season was, again, I talked about this, but it was always the fact that we had next year for sure.
yeah.
Like honestly, like it was always the fact that we were gonna get Martone. Zegras he's been playing out of his mind already for us, but the fact that he's gonna grow into a leader even more next year, um, just
That's what's
this,
even so great about the playoffs. Now they're in the playoffs, and they're gonna probably even be better next year with Forster down the stretch the whole
yeah,
year.
yeah.
The Martone having the full year now. Yeah, it's gonna be exciting stuff
They have
for
they'll
especially
ha-
next year in the future.
they'll have that experience um, just in the arena in playoff time in the pressure of opposing arenas. And that, I mean, I talked about that in an earlier pod, just talking about like even the Ducks, talking about like are they going to be good in the playoffs because they're going to, who knows how much experience they're going to end up having, if the pressure's going to be able, if it's going to wear off. Same thing with the Sabres. Is that pressure going to
Yeah,
have a toll on them when it comes to the playoffs? But it'll be great for the Flyers, even if they kind of do crap the bed in the playoffs. Like the fact is, we got here. They know what it's like now. So then next year, when we do make it, and probably in a better spot, we don't have to fight for it every single game. We're gonna see
hmm
a team that's just so much improved, so much more calm, and the coaching will be there too. It's
yeah,
so exciting. It's one of those things you have to just smile at because
yeah,
again, it's been a long, honestly, just century of hockey.
yeah. I
Hockey being
mean,
real.
besides the COVID year, really, that was our best shot at anything since obviously 2010, the Cup final year.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm not the COVID year. No one really cares about it. So, like,
In
I mean,
any
there hasn't been a
sport.
home playoff game since 2018. There hasn't been a playoff series win. Obviously, this is all besides COVID. Hasn't been a playoff series win since 2012,
Mm.
which 2012 was the this year the team finished with 43 wins. That's the most since that year. So, it's a good stat to have.
It's insane. Yeah.
Yeah,
Now, just from a media standpoint, because I know you're going into media, maybe I'm gonna go into media, hopefully. Just from a
yeah.
media standpoint, there's been a lot of discourse about, and I know you don't really listen to 94.1. Those
No,
those
yeah,
those evil people in
yeah.
Philly, but just looking at their clips, and I don't know if I sent you anything from them, but they've been hammering the nail on the Flyers recently. They've been talking about them.
And the fans, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And so, what do you think about? Because again, you've always been Flyers, good and bad. I'm nowhere. I can't really take a stance there, but like, just from you having, I know you're a Flyers guy. You've been a Flyers guy forever. It's in your blood. To see people kind of hop on the bandwagon, especially these like radio shows that could not give a damn about the Flyers until they finally clinched the playoffs. What are your thoughts about that? Because I've seen people angry. I was a little angry about seeing them acting like they know everything about it. What do you think about that?
Where it differs for me between the fans jumping on the bandwagon, and the radio show hosts, is the fans are the fans. There's gonna be people that just don't care about hockey, and that's fine.
Yeah,
And then you see that they're doing good, and you support,
that's
and
all
I can
sports.
appreciate that.
That's all
That's what I
sports
do.
too,
Yeah,
yeah.
like the Phillies. Like I don't like the Phillies are great. I'll go to games. I'll support them and whatnot. But then when it comes to playoffs, it's like another level. The WIP example is these guys are getting paid to talk about Philly sports, and them choosing to not talk about them all year is fine. And then they choose the convenient time when they're like right about to start the playoffs to act that they've been covering it all year when they haven't. That's why I have a problem with it.
Yeah,
Like if they were covering it, even like when they're bad, right? Just bring them up every so often. Be like, oh, the Flyers. Like you can even criticize them, but
yeah.
like you can't just only talk about them when you're good when you're getting paid for like that's your job.
And I mean, I've learned like especially WIP, like their job is to piss people off. That's like their
Yeah.
whole thing. You could do that with the Flyers. You could have done that even when they're terrible. You could just, if you really wanted to milk the cow, that was the Flyers are terrible. Let's just keep this narrative that they're going to be terrible. They're never going to be good. Like that could
Yeah.
very well just be a recurring point. You could just talk about how bad the organization was for a while there, the coaching, just how that was kind of inconsistent, the goaltending for a while, like you talked about. Like
There's so many points you could talk about.
that
Yeah, with
was a
them.
talking point over the past, at least since the playoffs that we last time we were in the playoffs. So
Yeah.
I think my biggest anger is just the fact that they're all like, "Oh, you guys shouldn't be like being whiny about this, about how we didn't cover it." But like, if you want to make people mad, just keep doing the Sixers thing where you talk bad about the Sixers all the time, and the Eagles where you like make up these false stories. Just go with
Yeah.
that with the Flyers. Like that's what I kind of don't get. Like,
Well, and your thing too, you commented on one of their posts. I don't know if it was like the individual's post or the WIP as
yeah,
a
yeah,
whole,
yeah.
but the guy was responding to you and saying
Yeah.
that's not how the radio works, when that's exactly how the radio
Yeah,
works. Like,
yeah.
like I was like, what are you talking about? So I don't know if that was like his version of rage bait as a 50-year-old, but I don't know.
I think
I don't know what that
I think
was.
I think it was. I think he was trying to just be like, "You're a little boy. You don't know what you're doing.
Yeah,
You're
like,
just like it's ridiculous." I mean, it's
yeah.
my fault because I keep commenting on their stuff and I keep sending my stuff to
As
Charlie.
you should, you and everybody else though. I've seen so many comments.
But I mean, that's why they're still in business. Like Spike Eskin's
Yeah,
a complete clown, and the fact
yeah,
he's still in business is because he makes these outrageous takes. That's like all these
yep.
sports radios about that. I gotta start doing. I gotta start saying stupid stuff on here and just having people.
Just start yelling like bros and like
Yeah, yeah,
bro. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
just
yeah.
like start screaming at the camera and you'll get some audience.
Dude, he's funny. I saw it. There was a
Yeah,
clip of him for WIP, and he was like, yeah, I stayed up all night after we clinched. I was doing my post game show. My parents weren't even on. I was like, what?
yeah.
All
No,
right,
he's been Flyers through and through.
yeah,
I've
yeah.
watched him do Flyers too. Though he's one of the few that are
He was the
actual
only
legit.
like WIP like guy that would make appearances frequently, that would talk Flyers consistently. He always had his jersey on and everything. It's just
Yeah.
yeah. Is there anything else you want to touch on these Flyers? Any points we missed?
Um, I mean, not really any point here. Just have people telling me that they're not gonna, make a run here, or they're gonna get swept. Um, Either way, I mean, it can't get better than making the playoffs right now. I'm just happy they're there.
Yeah, exactly.
If they make a run, they
The
make a
experience.
run. Yeah, I mean, I'm not expecting anything, but whatever happens, happens. Like I'm obviously all for it. I mean, I'll be at Game 6 if there is a Game 6. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm just excited
Is
they're
that
in there.
is that the ticket you got? DM6?
Yeah,
Damn,
yeah,
you gotta hope that happens.
I know, I know.
But then it's like, what if we sweep? Then it's like, you could be happy about that at least.
Yeah.
What would happen in that
Well,
scenario?
what do you mean? If you
Like,
swept?
would you get like, or like, let's say like we sweep them, you guys sweep, or there's just no
Oh,
game
if the game
six.
doesn't happen, you get a refund.
Okay, that wouldn't even be
You
like,
just
okay,
no,
damn,
nothing.
okay,
I know.
that's like a gift and a curse though, because it's like you want
I
the
know. That's
Flyers
why I
to
want to go
just,
to game one because like it's an automatic.
yeah.
But um, I mean, it was out of my price range. Too many
Yeah.
people hopped on the bandwagon and started reselling.
Now what do you think about? I mean, it's early. We just made the playoffs. Like, it doesn't really matter. But like, what do you think about our chances against the Penguins? The battle for Pennsylvania.
I mean, their goaltending sucks. So I mean, they can get shots off. It's like I think they'll. But I mean, Crosby, Malkin have always killed us. So
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
do we retire them this postseason? That's the question.
if that also it'll be the Hurricanes. Um, I don't like our odds against them. I mean, they obviously think they the Penguins first, but I think the Hurricanes are a force. So I think
Yeah,
either
yeah.
way, it's either us or them retiring them.
I mean, they gave us trouble without their main guys in, so
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They were just hot to start out. So, all right. Well, if you don't have anything else to add, I don't. I feel like we covered a lot here.
Oh yeah.
I appreciate you being the premier guest on the Pursuit
Yeah.
Pod.
It's an
I'll
absolute honor.
I'll be sure to have you in the future.
Oh yeah.
Just talking whatever. Honestly, to those watching, don't know Jason Melroy, best friend in the world. I'm very happy to see him this summer. Still holding strong down there in Philly.
Yeah.
It's not
Cherry
as
Hill
bad. It's not
rise.
as yeah. It's not as bad as everyone says. Honestly, I know the Clemson
Well,
people.
people say it's bad there.
No, just Philly. People don't like Philly.
Yeah. I was just say what
I mean,
happened.
also the Clemson people here are tired of New Jersey folk. So it's
Well, they're gonna have to deal with it.
yeah,
Everywhere you
yeah,
go, you're gonna meet somebody from New
yeah,
Jersey.
yeah. We're the dense state for a reason. So all right,
Yeah.
well, I appreciate your time, Jason. I know you're in between classes, and it's
Yep.
always a pleasure to have you. So there's
Oh
no
yeah.
more.
Thanks for having me.
I appreciate you again, and go Flyers.
I go Flyers.
All right, once again, I want to thank Jason for his time with us, just hanging in with us. Again, I would love to bring more guests in on the podcast, so please stay tuned if you're a close friend of mine, and hopefully we can get some big names on here eventually, but expect Jason to be back. Best friend in the world, best guy I'll ever meet, huge Philly fan there, huge Josh Allen guy as well, to my Josh Allen people, so hope to have him back, but really, really fun time talking to him, always, always. To finish out this great Phanatic segment, maybe the best we've had in the podcast, honestly. Thank you, Jason. With some Phillies talk. So obviously we just got smoked by the Cubs last night after going up 3-1. But I will say that we did find a spark in that first game against the Cubs. Carl Schwarber blasted 2 homers. The at-bats are finally moving. Everyone getting a little piece of the pie there. But the issue for us here has been our cleanup hitter spot. Garcia coming in with a single on the great offensive 5th inning against in that Cubs game. Not to mention when the bats are rolling, that RBI double in the 6th. But overall, the cleanup hitters before that game had been batting 186, 2 home runs, 11 RBIs, and an OPS of only 555. That's 25th in the MLB at that position. And it's not an improvement at all over last year's 20th ranking in the same exact spot. Rob Thompson, someone who's been criticized for his kind of lack of change, says he's experimenting with a little trial and error, putting Bohm in that position, maybe trying out JT in that position. So seems like it's still not working with that Cubs loss last night. But I mean, overall, Phillies just got to pick it up. We're 8-9 now, I think 8-8. It's got to be fixed. It's got to be fixed, and the baseball woes continue at Clemson. Just to kind of move on from that, the series versus UNC, I had the pleasure of recording it. Maybe not the pleasure, but I was able to record that for Clemson Video for our ESPN broadcasts. And this was just a team that just couldn't find a spark. I mean, they won that first game. That was great. And we need to win these next few series to get into the tournament at this point, to get into the World Series at this point. And the team just couldn't find a spark against UNC, especially when they were literally up 4-2 in that 14-inning game on Saturday. We literally we had the game in our hands and we blew it. We couldn't get anything going. And just to touch on some important numbers of Clemson baseball's 5-10 start in ACC play, 86 runs so far. That's the second worst in the ACC. And a big part of that is the fact that the Tigers keep leaving runners on base. They've had 17 runners left in that 14-inning game, as well as there were 10 runners left out without a score in that 12-5 blowout to end off the series. We've had 3 consecutive home series losses after this UNC loss. And now the conversation is the pitching. The pitching was once our only good factor to begin this season because, obviously we had the bats were rolling, but when we got to ACC play, it was the pitching that kind of kept us getting a win every now and then. But now that's fading. Eric Bakich said himself that the depth has just kind of gone away. Earlier in the season, he said that pitchers 1 to 23 were all great, trustworthy, bring them in at any time. And now the truth is, he says, as the coach, that only 9 or 10 of them can really be season-saving for these Tigers. And that's not to mention that Purify and McClatty are out due to freak injuries on the diamond, and Bakich has been making some change. He's not pulling a Rob Thompson here. He's put in Bryce Clavon over the struggling Ty Daly. He's allowing his freshmen to shine. But just going back to this pitching conversation, we've had Talon Bell. He's imploded to a 9.53 ERA. And if anything, the fact that he was tossed into the outfield during those extra innings in the UNC game, maybe he's more reliable as an outfielder, if anything. Joe Allen is stuck at 7.3 ERA. Legurnick, again, started this season out in that Army series, began the year showing that he could turn his college career around, but he's back to blowing games, especially coming in late in that UNC, in one of those UNC games. Michael Sherman he's also beginning to fade, and he started out the year phenomenal, been our MVP of the year. And then even Aiden Kanak has been playing his worst baseball as a Tiger. Obviously, there's also still some pretty good high points coming out of our pitching staff, such as Erison Veazey, who honestly is our only consistency left in this roster as of right now, with Savoy kind of hitting a brick wall. Jarrell hasn't been able to do much. Just those hitters, McClatty, again, out. And Ty Daly is struggling after an incredible year last year. Jaron Purify hasn't played in a minute. Things are just kind of going away. And to kind of round off this pod to today, and as well as the Clemson segment, just to talk some gymnastics for a minute, I was able to participate in the IPTE College Club Coaches Corner Q&A panel with Dabo, Sean Poppy, and the 2 gymnastic coaches, the Howes. And I will say they are phenomenal people, great people that I can tell kind of follow this example of the culture at Clemson that, Dabo kind of has that whole family-made culture that he brings in. Sean Poppy was preaching his entire panel, talking about how when he's bringing in transfers, when he's bringing in recruits, he looks for character over a playing ability. The playing ability brings them to the conversation, and then they get brought to Clemson based on the fact that there are people that want to be there, that they're playing for the right reasons, was his conversation. And it kind of, just the conversation with the Howes brought me to an article by someone else on the Tiger where they talked about the imperfect scoring in college gymnastics, especially this year, that just like with all athletics, unfortunately in the NCAA Division I, there is a bias towards the SEC. So it's the fact that Bree Clark hasn't had a 10, and Grindel Howe literally said in her panel that Bree Clark has had 4 routines that should have been 10. She saw her at the ACC championship putting up the 4, saying, hey, this should have been the 4th 10, and you guys are going to keep snubbing her. But then you go to the if she was, I don't even know, LSU, she would have had 10 10s by now. That's the bias that we're dealing with in NCAA gymnastics. Their season's unfortunately over. Besides, Bree Clark is going to go individually to another championship, but really just the Coach's Corner kind of demonstrated to me that aspect of culture, of family, and just good character that Clemson really brought on. I was talking to someone that I didn't go to the event with, but I ended up sitting with him, talking to him before the photo opportunities and the actual panel. and we were talking about how Clemson has just always brought in these coaches that are just of good morals. We haven't had a lot of crazy controversy, at least not with these coaches that we have now. They bring in the right recruits that are trying to exhibit the Clemson way, and it just brings a lot of goodwill to the Clemson Paw that you even see in this video on our Clemson Corner logo. So it's just a reminder of why this school is so great, especially their athletic programs, and why they've been to the point that they're at and have grown so much to being this powerhouse athletic school. And all of its sports, even the club sports, intramurals are all great, good-natured. It just represents that culture. And that's really what you're finding here at Clemson. And if anyone that's watching doesn't know what school to pick, athletics-wise, or even just for academics, I will say that follow these coaches' examples, because if your coaches are talking about high character and making this place like a family aspect, then Clemson is the spot for you. Clemson is the spot for you. Now, to finish out the pod, again, thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching week to week the clips on IG. And again, special shout out to Jason MELROY, formerly Broad Street Report, another nickname, MELROY Media. Go find him on social media. Jason is a pleasure. He's a current sports comm student as well as I am here at Clemson, but he is at St. Joe's, a little back home, a little more closer to the Philly sports. So incredible guy all around, standout guy, my best friend in the world. So go find him, go talk to him if you can. But that's been it for this Pursuit Pod. This has been the turning point of the Pursuit Pod, finally bringing a guest, finally experimenting with the setup of this pod, and it was a blast. It was an absolute success. It was an absolute dream to finally bring someone on, and especially a close friend of mine who I knew our chemistry was already there. So look forward to more guests in the future, especially if we keep this rolling. So, and this is not possible without the people that listen week to week and watch week to week, even if it's just the clips, even if they get spammed by me of the link, or just even look on the story to see the link that I posted. But you guys are always a great help, and I, again, love you guys so much. So to end out this pod, go Flyers first and foremost. Go Sixers. They're going to play their play-in game tonight against the Magic. Go tune in, and hopefully we don't have to play against the Hornets. That would be scary. Go Tigers. Always go Tigers. And go Phils. Go Phils. And always, with the draft coming up, go Birds. So I'll see y'all next week.